Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing the quarterly emergency lighting and exit sign test. So let's go ahead and get started. Right here by the sliding door exit, I have this Lithonia LQM LED exit sign. It's pretty standard. All it is an exit sign with battery backup. Of course, these things are supposed to have battery backup unless they're on an emergency generator, which none of these are. In the event power fails, the sign will just stay lit. There's not a whole lot to say about it other than the fact that if you test it, it stays lit. It's a fairly basic exit sign. I mean, there's not too much to say. It's made of plastic. It's a thermoplastic exit sign. If you pull it off the ceiling, it'll just come off like that, and then you can just kind of snap it on. You're supposed to have a little locking pin, but I don't have it in because I think I lost it on this one. But there it is. The plastic is a little thinner, so you can see the light does bleed through a little bit, but it's really pretty standard. I think I've said that many times at this point. So if we go ahead and turn our attention to the other exit sign in this area, this is a Lithonia ELP pipe light combo, which is a very unique style of exit sign emergency light combo. Instead of having the lamp heads on the side, this one has a light pipe built into the bottom, which is why it's called an ELP. If you test it, you can see the light bar come on. It's actually pretty bright. Of course, it's not really like a spotlight. It's almost just like a fluorescent fixture where it just scatters light everywhere, but it's good for covering a small little area. Of course, if you mount this thing like, 50 feet off the ground on a really high ceiling, it's really not going to do a whole lot. But for a small confined space like this, it's quite a good unit. So again, there it is, the left arrow, left. The right arrow is out pointing to the stairway over here. And yeah, it's pretty neat. Over here, I have a new exit sign location. This was originally an emergency light spot. Back in the day, I mean like 5 months ago, there used to be an emergency light fixture over there, but I decided that this fixture spot was too nice to waste on an emergency light, so I put up this light fixture. But because I think that's what it's supposed to be. There's a switch over here on the wall that controls it. So, I mean, that's what the original property owners intended when they built this house. And I really do like the light fixture there. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked. So I decided to run a new box over here with a new circuit. And this is the emergency lighting spot. I decided though that instead of just having an emergency light, a exit sign combo unit was actually pretty fitting because of course, it's a good directional indicator that the exit is that way. Not that it really matters. You really don't need exit signs in a residential space. It's more just for fun. But again, when you come out of these rooms here, you immediately see this exit sign and then it tells you to go this way, and then you see that exit sign if you walk this way, or if this exit is not available for some reason, you can then see that exit sign. But either way, it's just an all-pro APC exit sign combo. If you go ahead and test it, it lights up. Again, it's pretty decent for what it is, which is a low output, low budget exit sign. If you mount this thing 200 feet off the ground, once again, it's not going to do a whole lot. But these smaller units with smaller lamp heads are not rated for that high of mounting and not rated for a lot of spacing anyways. So does the job again for a confined space like this. If we go ahead and go into the storage room or fire museum room, you can see we have some older stuff. Primarily, the other units are all LED and modern and slightly newer. These are all older units. So this right here is not that old, but it actually kind of is. This is a generic emergency lighting fixture from the early 2000s or late 90s. You can kind of tell it's older because the slightly newer versions have the test button and LED indicator horizontally laid out, whereas this one is vertical. It's kind of weird saying that these things are old because you used to see these things absolutely everywhere. You probably still do, but at this point, these things are all nearing like 20 to 25 years old, which is kind of crazy. This right here is a Dynaray exit sign combination. What did I just say? Exit sign combination. This is not an exit sign combo. It's a exit sign standard, if that's what you call it. It's really just an exit sign with battery backup. It's rebranded by Dynaray. As you can see, the place where the Emergilight tag would usually go has a Dynaray plastic thing in it, which is kind of neat. It's a very niche rebranding. You can see it's mounted to the ceiling. This one came with a canopy. It was originally installed on the ceiling. Fun fact, this unit was found at a dumpster. I think it was about to be trashed. Can't talk today. Because again, this type of stuff people always assume is worth money, especially if you're interested in older technology and things like that, people kind of dig this retro stuff. But realistically, to the average person or fire protection company or electrician, this is garbage, right? Nobody wants this. So that's why you see these things tossed out so often. I think a lot of people would be very surprised as to the amount of waste there is for this stuff. Because, I mean, it's really just e-waste. Well, I'm talking a lot today. Maybe I'll put a timestamp so people can skip the talking. But either way, to test it, you just push that switch down. Of course, this one has 2 lights on the side. So the test button is on the bottom. In the middle, you have a ready light, and then on the top, you have a high charge light. This is not really self-diagnostics because it doesn't tell you a whole lot. However, it is very simple self-diagnostics. The yellow indicator simply tells you that the AC power is going to the unit, and that red charge light tells you if the unit's charger is currently on high charge, which can tell you if the unit's battery is low, because if the high charge light is on for a very long time, that means the sign is trying to charge a battery that won't hold a charge. So that means the battery probably needs to be replaced. If we go into the bathroom, this is an All-Pro AP LEL. If basic was an emergency light, then this would be it. This is pretty much just a standard NiCad emergency light. Again, very, designed for small space. You hit the button, the lights turn on, the power goes on, the lights turn on. Really nothing to say about it. So now we have the polar opposite in this room. This right here is a absolutely massive Shurlights emergency lighting fixture. It's high capacity. It's kind of beefed up with all the features of the time. It's halogen, I believe. But inside there's like these huge NiCad batteries. Yes, it's NiCad. It's not lead acid. There's actually 2 battery packs in it, but it's the biggest NiCad battery packs you've ever seen. This thing has self-diagnostics, which is kind of next level. And it also has a laser test, which I would demonstrate, but I can't shoot lasers out of my eyes, and I'm not gonna go get a laser pointer just for this video. So unfortunately, we're just gonna turn off the power when we go and test it. Next to it, I have a very fitting exit sign. I think these two are probably from the same time period. This right here is an All-Pro, not an All-Pro. This is a Shurlights, excuse me, LED exit sign. I think it's from like 2002 or whatever, but you can see the LEDs are very, very dim. You definitely see this a lot with the older stuff like the LPX series, but I mean, it's still kind of legible. If you turn off the lights, you can still see the words exit. Gets the job done. The battery on this still works despite it being kind of old, but does operate. So let's go ahead and turn off the power, shall we? I've been talking for 8 minutes already, so I don't even know if you're still watching, but if you are, maybe let me know in the comments. So let's just flip all these breakers. Ah, no power. Let there be light. Check that out. So fire panel is currently in trouble. The emergency light is now lighting up this area. This is a very decent incandescent or halogen emergency light. Most of these things have a tendency to be pretty dim. This one is not. If you go ahead and walk around this room, it's well lit. Again, this combo here covers this basic line down here. Not too much to say about it. And here, incandescent emergency light doing whatever it needs to do. Lights up a very small room because it's what it's designed for. This exit sign is doing what it's supposed to as well. Again, it just says exit, stays lit. There's actually 3 emergency bulbs in there, which is kind of cool. If we go into the bathroom, again, all of these fixtures are really good for small confined spaces. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, it just lights up the room. If you go over here, this exit sign is lit, which is what it's supposed to be. This tells you that there's an exit here. And then finally, the ELP is going. Walk over to it and see how bright it is. Don't stare into that. But you can see it doesn't leave any spotlight patterns. It kind of just lights up the whole area, which is kind of nice. It's a little more even. Of course, our TV is off now because there's no power. Check on the NBA game score though. What is it? Wow, okay. I hope the Pacers win. Anyways, let's go ahead and turn the power back on. I don't know if there's a whole lot left to say here. Nice and bright. Out here in the garage, I have this exit sign combo. It's a red LED combination unit. I originally had one of those generic bug head LED combos. Not sure if you know what I'm talking about. It's the ones that are kind of rounded and they have round heads. And then it just stopped working, so I put this thing up. This is kind of a cheap combo. It's actually the unit of choice now for a lot of generic companies, but they're very thin. They're very flexible, as you can see. The plastic is quite thin, but surprisingly, in terms of performance, these things are actually outstanding for what they are. Doesn't look like it on camera, but these things actually are very, very bright. The Exit Legend 2, this thing is like abnormally bright. If you were to put this in like a dark room or something, it's almost too bright, like to the point where it's intrusive. But again, it's just adjusted towards the path of egress. Not a whole lot to say about it. Let's go ahead and turn off the power. There we go. The exit sign is lit. The emergency lights are on. Again, this thing is very bright for what it is. This is a very low budget unit once again, but actually it lights up quite well. I mean, this is a pretty large space, and I mean, usually the camera does compensate a little bit, but this thing does light up the entire garage. It is a little excessively bright on the exit sign faceplate. It does make me a little concerned though, because generally when a fixture like this that's supposed to be on 24/7 has LEDs that are this bright normally, it just makes me concerned that the electronics are just designed to be overpowered. That is, the LEDs are receiving a little bit too much voltage, and over time the LED degradation is very severe in a lot of cases when you have something like this. Like over time the LED performance just plateaus and it's not really good. So I mean, currently it's super bright, but I'd imagine that after 3 years of continuous use, I'm sure the sign will get significantly dimmer. Or not, maybe the engineering has gotten a lot better over the years for these generic signs, but let's turn the lights back on. Okay, now let's go ahead and turn the sign on. This right here is a Dual-Light EVHC high capacity or high output self-testing emergency light. This is a very high-end emergency lighting fixture, which is kind of ironic because it's in a residential master bedroom where it has no place being. This is the type of emergency light you'd actually mount on the high ceiling of a warehouse or something that you'd space out really far. It's kind of funny how people will compare these to like the cheapest generic units you can find on Amazon and then be shocked when this performs better. Well, duh, because this is what it's designed to do. If you test it, you can really see why it's high output. It's extremely bright once you look into it. This is actually the higher output version of the two EVHCs. I believe there's a 6-watt version and a 12-watt version, and this is the 12-watt version. But these lamps are ridiculous. If you go ahead and turn off the lights, it lights up the entire room, and then if you open the door to the hallway, pretty much lights up the whole hallway as well if the door isn't in the way. So again, this is the type of thing, I think the spacing on these is something crazy, like 80 feet or something like that, which means that if you have an inability to run wire or something, you can space these out at 80-foot intervals, which can help you save on the cost of wiring, or not wiring, maybe fixture locations, damage to your walls, whatever. But either way, that's that. Well, that's going to do for today. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. This is the quarterly emergency lighting test video, so you should expect one of these roughly every quarter, so every 3 months or so. But yeah, take care.